What's happening, people? You are welcome to the Fight Week show. And look what we got here. My co-host, William. How you doing, my brother? You blessed?
I'm cool, man. And you?
Yeah, man. Boy, this weekend got me buzzing, man. You know what I mean? There's so much going on this weekend, sports-wise. It's ridiculous. But we got a big guest in the house. Big Unks, as I always call him. He's my real, look, that's real Big Unks right there. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, Big Unks. How you doing, my brother?
You know what? I am thoroughly excited because obviously we've got the big football, Arsenal Man United, and that's always a massive game. But I'm so grateful for the BT Sport and the Premier League that they actually scheduled this game at 12:30 as opposed to because if it was on Sky and it was like a 5:30 kickoff. It's like because I'm one of those lucky people who've got tickets to the Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury fight at Wembley. So me and my wife, we got one of these hotel packages where, all right, it costs us £900.
Wow.
I know because I
Yeah, I
messed.
mean, look, if you're a fight fan, these are the
No, no,
moments you
no,
live
no,
for.
no. It's not out of design. It was
My
because
my
I was in a.
MOT cost me £782
Oh Jesus Christ, man! So
3 days ago.
can you imagine it? Can you imagine it if one of them gets knocked out in the second after 6 minutes of fighting, and I pay? But you know what the situation is that I got the tickets. I was in the queue, and I messed up, and it put me back to 100. I basically was 100,000 in the queue, and then basically what's happened is that I got back in because my wife was furious. She didn't show her fury, but she was fuming. So she said, "Oh, why don't you go and book fights to see Savannah Marshall in Newcastle, and let's go and watch maybe a fight at Bethnal Green or one of the thing." And I knew deep down she wanted this fight, so we went back in. And she said, "Should we do it?" I said, "Just press the button before we miss out." So she pressed the button, and that was it. So it's a hotel in Aldgate near the East End, and then they said that you can get a tube straight over. My wife drives because she's got a blue badge.
Well, that's a bonus because you're going to need it in the Wembley area and all those places that you're really going to need it. It will. I know we're going to talk. We're going to talk about the fight in a minute. You excited about tomorrow? 12:30 kickoff. You're mute.
Yeah. I'm excited. Nah, no, I'm not excited. No.
What's the news on Ronaldo? I need you to give me the news on Ronaldo. Is he coming back tomorrow?
I think he will be back tomorrow.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I was hoping they were going to give him extended leave. You know what I mean? And
I'm not worried about
yeah,
Pogba.
condolences to him and his family on him losing his son and all that. Yeah, terrible tragedy to befall anyone. You know, so condolences to him and his family. We got a lot of people in the chat tonight. Thank you to everybody that's coming through. All of you showing love, all of you showing support. Thank you for joining us tonight. We got the big Wembley fight between Fury and Whyte, and we're going to get straight into that because that's why our special guest is here. And before we jump into the MMA thing, is going to leave me and Will to dissect that. But you know, when we have someone like you on the show, it's good to be able to see your thoughts and feelings and pick your brains on certain things. And the build up to this fight to me has been kind of nicey between these two, and I know their background. They came up together, they grew up together, and they even shared a bunk together from some of the stories that I heard. What's your feeling on the split? Because Whyte is not happy about that. If there's one thing Whyte's been moaning about, it's the split. He's thinking maybe it should be in and around 40 to 45%, but it's a 80-20 split. What's your thoughts and feelings on that?
The WBC rules are very clear. Dillian Whyte is not he's not a mandatory. He's the interim WBC champion, which was in the coronation by Suleiman himself. So if that's the case, then he should be able to negotiate at the price of 40 to 45%. That is in their rules. It's in their rules. It's a legal argument. So basically, he's well within his rights to take it to arbitration. However, it looks like there's rumours that he has lost to arbitration, and it's something that he let slip out. Then it got retracted, and they've actually deleted that video. But the video is out there. Whoever's got it, he has lost to arbitration. But one of the things that that Dillian Whyte has got genuine grievances is the way it's people like I don't blame Bob Arum. I do blame Frank Warren, not so much Tyson Fury, but people like Tyson Fury, John Fury, and his brother Tommy Fury, who's just really, in terms of boxing, he's one of the biggest relevants out there, probably just as relevant as John Fury. But we'll play along anyway. For them to assume wrongly that Tyson Fury is like a big seller like AJ, it's not the case. Tyson Fury's fights to the world didn't sell out in the United States. It didn't break the box office, the pay-per-view records that they like to think. Also, when Tyson Fury used to fight in England, he never was a massive draw. Even when he made his comeback in Belfast and Manchester, they never sold out. So for them to say it's a Tyson Fury homecoming, I think what they need to be accurate is Dillian Whyte is there's two stories: Tyson Fury's homecoming and Dillian Whyte's waiting 1,000 days to be the WBC champion, or just get a chance to fight for it because he's fought a former world champion Joseph Parker, fought a former contender in Povetkin, 2 fights, fought a gatekeeper in Derek Chisora, fought a very good heavyweight in Rivas, fought a former champion, a regular title. You had a regular title in Lucas Brand. So these are hard, and he fought someone who's in the top 10 heavyweights in Robert Helenius. Hard fights. He got hurt in some of these fights as well. He got hurt by Helenius. He got put down by Rivas, and obviously got knocked down by Povetkin. And let's not forget, he fought the up-and-coming fighter, which is Anthony Joshua. So he hasn't had easy fights. Tyson Fury also came out the hard way, i.e. no one gave him a chance against Klitschko. And a lot of people, because he was long layoff, no one gave him a chance against Deontay Wilder. So in terms of story, it's got equal billing. And let's not forget, Tyson Fury hasn't headed as many pay-per-views as Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte has headlines a lot of pay-per-views. So he's got experience of doing it. And he has sold out the O2 Arena, which sells 20,000. Not saying Tyson Fury wouldn't do that. I'm sure Tyson Fury would do it. But there's genuine evidence that Dillian Whyte is a massive ticket seller. And that I was doing a show with Sporting Icons with Lady Chan. And one of the things we said is that out of the 94,000, there's about probably a third of us going there to watch Dillian Whyte. So when they talk about, if Dillian Whyte don't turn up, we're just going to get another opponent. It doesn't work like that. We bought tickets to see Dillian Whyte finally get his chance to fight for the world title. And that us 30% of what I believe is the 94,000 would go and follow Dillian Whyte anywhere around the country to see that. We would have gone to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'd have gone to West Ham Stadium because we're Dillian Whyte fans. We're also Tyson Fury fans, but it's probably a greater story than Tyson Fury's story in terms of homecoming because he's the best heavyweight champion in the world. He's the favourite. Everyone thinks he just has to turn up and win. So that's not. So a lot of people, it's a foregone conclusion. That's the better story. And Frank Warren didn't sell that. He got away with it because of the fact, and I think he realises at the 11th hour that Dillian Whyte is just as much a big seller. In fact, he's probably a bigger headline seller than Tyson Fury in this fight because of the storyline.
Okay, Will, let me ask you this: when you look at the build up to this fight, Tyson Fury to me looked like he's been the one kind of being more engaging with the media, pushing the fight, trying to sell the fight. Dylan didn't really do a whole lot of media leading into this. Do you think it has something to do with this split that Big Unks was just talking about, that Kennecan was just talking about?
Yeah, it has a lot to do with it. I think Dylan and them lot signed contracts that, as you heard on the radio, right? Their lawyers were talking about it on the radio. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Did you hear that little chat between their lawyers, Frank and the lawyer?
Yeah. Frank made him look like a dickhead.
It was kind of like Dylan had already signed whatever he signed, didn't it? So you can't go back on whatever you signed now. Regardless of what the rules are, if you signed your life away, you signed your life away. You should have read the small print. That's how I feel about that. Also, me personally, right? I felt, because it's a BT show, I felt like Sky, like with Dylan Whyte being a Sky.
You there?
Dylan being a Sky fighter. He's how'd you say this? He's he's been blocked in a kind of way by what's his face? What's this guy's name? What's the guy I hate? Eddie Hearn.
Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, he's been blocked by Eddie Hearn to, like, I don't know, like. I mean,
Diego just made it.
They've made it in such a little thing, like it's little promotion for BT Sports. That's how I feel. I feel like there's been little promotion for BT Sports, personally. Coming from Sky. The fighter coming from Sky has given BT Sports the littlest promotion he could give him. Personally, I feel like it's all mind games and all little. He's not going to. Then he just turns up on the week before. Do you know what I mean? He's done the least for BT Sports. BT Sports have put on press conferences, and he's not been at it. Do you hear what I'm saying? How bad does that look? But then again, on the plus side, that could make people watch the press conference and see, like, why didn't he turn up? Or do you get what I mean? It could work both ways. But I just feel like Sky has played a part in this. It's just me personally. I'll have to leave the thing and come right back in. 1 second.
Yeah. So, Big Unks, let me ask you this. Look, Tyson's got the more reach. He's the bigger man. It's coming 12 pound lighter, but still a pound over Dylan Whyte coming into this fight. And Dylan Whyte is the very aggressive, likes to go to the body, invest in the body early. As you start to look at the fight break down, is there anything or signs that you start to look for based on the style of both of the fighters to see where the fight's gonna go?
Well, the thing is, right, if you look at the Tyson Fury camp, obviously rumors cut for nothing, but there's you're hearing rumors that John Fury is sticking his nose in Orin, and that's been very disruptive. And also another thing as well is that a lot of people in boxing are talking about the toll of the Deontay Wilder fight, especially the last fight. It took a massive toll from Tyson Fury in terms of the fact that Deontay Wilder was jabbing to the body, and he was like I said, using his right hand when Tyson Fury came in, and he actually boxed a lot better than he's not obviously he doesn't have the fundamentals that a lot of us said, but he boxed a lot better in that fight. It was a war, and that Tyson Fury was able to pull away because Deontay Wilder got tired and he became a standing target. So that's one of the things that, in that respect, you have to take in consideration. Remember, Tyson Fury was out of the ring for 3 years, where he's been abusing his body. He's lost all that weight. He's come back, but one of the things we didn't see in the two Deontay Wilder fights, and even in other fights as well, we didn't really see the speed of hand and foot where he's fighting at the on grades. He engaged with Deontay Wilder because he knew he was a bigger man. He did that in the second fight as well. But is he engaging with Deontay Wilder because he isn't able to have that speed of movement where, the Tyson Fury, when he's boxing at his best, it's like a double jab, and then he ducks down and follows through the right hand, and he comes out again, and then like that. Or even when he does it as a southpaw, it's like double southpaw, uppercut, and then he follows through with the backhand. He puts everything into it, and sits in his punches. I think what we've noticed since he's been with Sugar Hill is he's sitting his punches. The thing about it is with Dylan Whyte is that Dylan Whyte is a natural fighter in terms of his MMA background, and he's a bigger man than Deontay Wilder. Obviously, not in height. And another thing with Dillian White's got long arms and a long reach himself. For a fighter of only 6'4", his reach and the sort of, even though on paper, it's smaller than Tyson Fury, but the way he can extend his arms, especially when he does the jab and the body shot, it's going to be a bit of a problem where he won't have too much problem at long range. Obviously, he's going to want to fight inside because one of the things that Dillian Whyte needs to do is that he has developed the right hand, and that everyone thinks it's about the left hook, but really and truly, what he has to do is the body. Get around this area here, and slow Tyson down, because Deontay Wilder was trying to do that where he did it with a jab. Dillian Whyte has to not just use his jab, but he has to be very deceptive. He has to go basically if he wants to. Like I said, get inside through. He's got to get on his knees, get those knees, and bend his back and crouch down and go low and boom, boom, boom. Obviously, he's risking, like I said, the overhand right over the top.
Overhand right.
But what he needs to do is that he has to have some feints. It's no good going low and then being straight. You have to have some, like boom, 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 go like boom, bang, 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 and then set it up and then throw the right hand. Because Tyson will be looking for the left hook, and he will see that all day because he's one of Tyson's an intelligent fighter. Your left hook has to be the last punch you want to use. It has to be crouch, body, feint, boom, 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 and then use your right hand, which you use a lot. You use very well in the Povetkin fight, because one of the things with Dillian Whyte is that he has improved, and there's different levels to what he's doing there. But I think the right hand is going to be the sort of the punch that is going to set him up for the left hook. But the left hook has to be used in disguise. It can't be using the left hook just for trying to find that punch out of desperation. You've got 12 rounds to find your range and find your range. But one of the things you have to do is the body. Your body, get your shoulder in, crouch, and head movement and feints.
Ken,
So
but Ken, it's all good saying that, right? But he's got to do it as well, and he ain't done it before. So can he do it?
Well, he's going to have to find a way to do it because the thing about it is that if Tyson Fury engages with him and tries to sit on him, then that's an opportunity for Tyson for him to do that, because again, it doesn't have to be risk and rewards. Like, let's see who can knock each other out first. It has to be a situation where Tyson Fury, if he's coming at you, you have to be able to move your head and you have some feints and have. Remember, Dillian Whyte he's got slow feet. We know that, but he's got slow feet, and like I said, in terms of his hand, he's slow in terms of his punch, speed as well isn't there. But he's very accurate, which means he has to turn it into a dirty fight. So if Tyson Fury comes onto him, that's where the opportunity is for him, is to go downstairs. Don't go up high to him where when Tyson Fury's going to go like that, and then he's going to double jab you, and he's going to come through. No, body, inside body, boom, 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 and then the right hand, which Tyson Fury ain't expecting, and then when the right hand's coming, he's thinking, no, is he going to hit me with the left hook? Then the one on the body, and then bang. You know what I mean? Build up your attacks. The left hook is there. Tyson Fury can be caught with the left hook, but you've got to build up your attacks. You've got to disguise that left hook. That's for me, crouching down, jab to the body, and then left hook to the body, and then get the right hand going. Dillian Whyte's right hand has to be the equivalent of Tyson Fury's jab. Because remember, Tyson Fury's jab sets up his attacks for that sort of right hand, which he goes through with you. Yeah. He goes through that right hand, but he puts his whole body around it, where he nails the sugar and he sips on it. So that's what Tyson Fury's got to do. Because Tyson Fury, we all say he's a very good inside fighter, but yeah, that's against Deontay Wilder. Would he do it? Would he? And if he fought Uzi, I'm sure he'll go and sit on him and try and take him out as well because of his size. But Anthony Joshua's a big lad. You can't do that, Anthony Joshua or Dillian Whyte. So it has to be something different.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Will, quick question here from Diego. I'll direct this question to you, and maybe Big Unks can get some as well. He says, "What's your take on Fury introducing Steve Egan to his coaching team for the first time since his amateur days?"
somebody who probably saw him like spar with Dylan Whyte and can remember little things. Probably. That's what I'm thinking.
And that's the thing in this sport. Those tiny little details count for a lot, especially when it comes off. And like you said, it really could be someone that's seen bits of Dylan Whyte from back in the day, because from how far back those two go back, I can't help but think, does he know something? Because even when they were matching AJ and Fury up, and it looked like that fight was going to happen, and that Dylan was backing AJ for some crazy reason. To me, I ain't stopped thinking since they put these two fights together, that does he know something that maybe a lot of the other fighters that weren't really close with him know about Fury. What's your take on Egan coming to the fold, Kenny Ken?
Yeah, obviously, you bring him, but I think that's probably someone like something that John Fury's probably had an input in, which personally, you're talking about the amateur days. Well, professional fighting and amateur is different. Both fighters have evolved and have added layers to themselves to the extent that they're not going to fight like they did when they were in the amateurs. The same with Dylan Whyte. Dylan Whyte is basically added percentages to his arsenal that you didn't think they were there when he first fought. We first took notice of him in the first Joshua fight. Dylan Whyte has got a lot more attributes to his game. Everyone just talks about the left hook, but they've been mistaken. It's just like everyone just says that Tyson Fury is like he's got the speed of a middleweight and he's got pillow fists. No, he hasn't. Since he's been with Sugar Hill, he's been able to step on, basically step into his punches and put everything into it. Punch from his feet. So it's all very, very different. But I'm sure they mean well, but they have to remember they're both different fighters. When you hear about Dylan Whyte dropped Tyson Fury twice in sparring, so what? Doesn't mean anything. That's sparring. Sparring's all sparring's meant to do is that you're basically replicating a style that either Dylan Whyte's going to use in his next fight after sparring with Tyson Fury, and vice versa. It's not a straight out fight. In terms of when you get knocked out in sparring, knocked down, yeah, that's fine because you expect to make your mistakes in sparring. Doesn't mean because you made those mistakes in sparring, you're going to make it in the fight. And I think getting this guy in, it's fine, but he's got to remember that it's a whole different ball game. Another thing as well is that if they're going to sort of get Tyson Fury and say, oh yeah, is he going to fight on the balls with his feet and use his speed and blah blah, he may not be able to do that. In terms of like the wars or the fact that he's been out for 3 years, it will take its toll. He's a fresher fighter and he fought a lot. But just because you're a fresher fighter and you fought a lot, it wasn't as if he knocked Deontay Wilder out in the first round in October. It was 11 rounds where he had to basically chase Wilder and try and knock him out because Wilder was a sitting target from round 7 because he was knackered. So that might have taken a toll out of Fury, innit? Having to chase after someone, having to put punches together when the guy was standing there and you couldn't get him out, and you put him down in the 10th, and then finally, when his body could take no more, you put him down in the 11th. So you've expended a lot of energy from those four rounds when Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, ran out of gas.
Sit there. Carl Rossi says here, I wouldn't want to take a punch from Kenny with them guns for arms. I keep trying to tell people how big Gunks is, but people don't understand until this two next to you. You know what I mean? People don't really get it, man. You know what I mean? But Uncle,
I got a nitpick from what Ken said. Still,
yeah, go on through.
Yeah, to begin with, with Whyte as well. You stressed on the fact that they have changed from the amateur days, yeah. But Tyson's always said, yeah, once you get punched, you revert to type.
True. Yeah.
That's what he kept saying that with Deontay Wilder. I don't care what training he's done. Once I hit him, it will be the same guy I met before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And because of that, I do believe that he thinks that once he starts getting Dylan hurt, Dylan will revert to type. And if you're used to that old little thing, like you said, little pieces of information always matter. Little pieces of information matter the most. It's a fight game. It's a big fight game. Do you know what I mean? And also the second thing I wanted to elaborate on as well. When you hear of Tyson Fury sparring, right? I don't think he's ever had a good sparring session where he's come out on top. You know.
No, that's the thing. I think he used. You know, the thing is, you know, you never really see fires, but you know what they're saying is that this camp, they said that Tyson Fury's like going through a lot of sparring partners that they can't cope with him, that he's in like he's banging people out. They say a lot. I mean, this has been going on for 30 years. I remember before the Mike Tyson fight with Frank Bruno when they fought in Vegas in '89. Frank Bruno is in a mean mood. Sparring partners are quitting and they don't want to. They can't cope with the ferocity of Frank Bruno, you know. And then when it doesn't always replicate in the fight, as he said, you know, Frank Bruno had the plan hit Tyson with a left hook in the third round, but when he got hit, so yeah, it's 100% right. You know, so you can go in the greatest plan, but the boss in the ring is you, not your trainer. He's only an advisor.
That's true.
Okay. Next question I got for you, Will, actually. Chisora says that he puts his house on Dylan Whyte to knock out Fury. Would you put your new Range Rover on Dylan Whyte to knock out Fury? You didn't see that one coming. Yeah, that's why that question came to you, my bro.
And I won't put my Range Rover on it either. Because he's been in the ring with him. It's out of respect, isn't it? You've been in the ring with a guy. You've been in the ring with Fury. He's been in the ring with Fury as well.
You went quiet there just now, Will. You're
mute.
mute. You're mute, Will. Yeah, while he's sorting that out, what's the path to victory for Dylan Whyte? Because he's a big underdog here, big underdog.
I think the path to victory, you know, is basically, you know, staying in the fight, not to stating that, you know, accepting that he could be behind by points, that accepting the fact that Tyson Fury could be nicking fights, but trying to slow down Tyson Fury. And you know, the plan that I had for Dylan Whyte, the body punches, is to slow him down, because if Tyson Fury has gone through a lot of wars and that it's taken a big toll on his body, and towards the outer rounds he isn't able to dance and move, and he's going to try and sit with Dylan Whyte, that's when Dylan Whyte needs to, you know, take him out.
Big Ken, I've got a feeling, yeah, with the way you're talking, I've got a feeling you got your money on Dylan Whyte to win this.
No, not at all. What's happened is that
that was going to be my next question to both of you.
It's not so much
it's
that.
Just how you're talking. It just feels like
not at all, because Tyson Fury is a very huge favourite for me, and I expect him to win, either on a split decision or unanimous. I expect him to dance, but my biggest worry is, would he be able to dance and move like that? Because we know he can mix it up, but that's only because of Dylan Wilder. Because what we're seeing with Tyson Fury is that everyone's anointing Tyson Fury as the best heavyweight on the planet, and sure they should, because he's unbeaten, and he's got the experience, and he had all the belts. Then he retired, and then he won back the WBC belt. He's got a Ring magazine, and he's the leading champion. So yes, you can say that, but we're saying it on the basis that he beat the hardest hitting heavyweight in the business at the moment, maybe ever, and we're going on the back of the Klitschko fight. But the Klitschko fight was 7 years, nearly 7 years ago in November, and it's just it's 3 fights in the underworld. Obviously, there's fights in between, with Schwartz and it was Schwartz, and there was it Swedish guy. Was it he's going to fight Dillian Whyte, my guy Otto Wallin. Yeah, in between that, where he got cut by Otto Wallin, but he was winning the fight easily, even though what I mean, he was clearly announced points winning there. But what I'm saying is that Dillian Whyte will pose a lot of problems because Tyson Fury, they're saying that Tyson Fury can engage now and that he'll go and engage. But Deontay Wilder, dripping wet, is probably only about 15.5 stone, 6'7". He's skinny. If he was any shorter, he'd probably be a light heavyweight. You know what I mean? He's got the build of a Lawrence Okolie. And that's not criticising Deontay Wilder, but that's the build he has. So cruiserweight weight, but he's got the detonator power like David Hay. Cruiserweight, and that's cruiserweight, but got a detonator of a right hand and a left hand, enormous power. But this is a live fighter, a heavyweight. Derek Chisora was, as much as he can hit, he's got slow feet, he's got slow feet, he's got slow movement with his arm and everything, and he really is a gatekeeper. This guy is levels above Derek Chisora. So in that respect, that's why I'm thinking I'm fascinated by it. Obviously, Dillian Whyte is a massive underdog. People are going to take and confess that he got knocked out because he made a mistake against a 40-year-old, but he was winning the fight before. And they just look at the levels of skill that Tyson Fury has. But skill is different. It's fighting. It's a fight. This is going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. It could be a boxing exhibition if Tyson Fury had the speed of hand and foot, which I believe he has. But would there be any effects? This fight happened about in 2016, 2017. Of course, I'm going Tyson Fury all day long, and I'm still doing it now. But it's part of me is thinking, tolls, the interference of John Fury in the camp, Dillian Whyte's bloody mindedness and the ability to fight. You know what I mean? And Dillian Whyte now added variety to his punches.
He's breached the gap a little bit.
Yeah, the gap's not as wide as it was when this fight was first muted a few months back.
Big Ken, all you've done is just prove more that you actually think Dillian Whyte's going to pull it off.
This is my question now.
I want him to. No, there's no doubt that myself and my wife, as much as we're great admirers of Tyson Fury, and obviously we're great admirers of Andy Joshua, the fact is that we are massive Dillian Whyte fans. So we do have an invested interest. It will be an extraordinary day, and it'll be a massive celebration for two people, a married couple that followed Dillian Whyte and fought Angonier. We weren't impressed with his shape when he first fought Joshua, but like Eddie Hearn, we saw something in that fight with Joshua. We thought, Angonier, if we can just get this, if you can get this guy fit and get him, train, because remember he was with Jonathan Banks, great trainer, and he had Chris Oko as well back in the day. And then I think the improvements that started with when he went to Tibbs, Mark Tibbs, and then he's gone and Xavier Miller's done a very good job with him as well. So in terms of that, he's evolved, and you could see that even in that fight. Obviously, the signature part was the left hook, and you could see that he was so unfit, and he didn't have he was raw, and he thought this was like a tear up on the Brixton High Street when he was thrown. You know what I mean? And he got excited, but you thought, we can just get this guy together, he'd be a good fighter. And I think he's a good fighter. You can't take this hard path and come through all these fights to get to basically the World Cup final and not be a poor fighter. He's a good fighter. He's earned the hard way. Whether he's going to be enough, I'm probably like you, think he's probably going to feel a bit short, but if he wins, I'll be ecstatic.
So we've got a question here from Craig Molloy. Salute to Craig Molloy. Salute to everybody that's been with us tonight, that's watching us on live, that's watching us on playback. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Your support is fantastic, And you're the reason why I keep saying it. You're the reason why we're here. You know what I mean? You guys are the reason why we keep doing this. So, Craig Moller has asked question to the panel, Will and Kenny Ken. Who wins and why? You can put your rounds in as well. Do you want to go first, Will? Because Kenny Ken's just spoken.
Okay. I was gonna say, before I was gonna say Dylan had a chance to win. I felt like Dylan could do something. Dylan could surprise us or something. But when Tyson said about being serious and he took Dylan seriously and he's an amateur MMA guy and all these things, like I thought maybe he has taken him seriously, just the same way he said he took Deontay Wilder seriously the second time. Maybe he is gonna like really not mess around this time or something, like, because you know he likes messing around a lot. So maybe this is the first time I might say I'm putting my whole hat on Fury. Might be a bad thing.
What round?
I think you could go the whole 12.
Decision.
Yeah, I
Pick
think
him
you could
apart.
go the whole 12, yeah.
What about you, Kenny Ken?
It depends on how stubborn. It depends on how I think it depends on how stubborn Dylan Whyte is.
What about you, Kenny Ken?
The thing about it, right? Tyson Fury should. I echo what Will says. The way Will's described how it's going to go, it should go for me to a points win for Tyson Fury. Because the simple reason is that Dylan Whyte may be a very difficult man to take out, so he's going to revert back to his hand speed.
But a lot's been said about Dylan Whyte's gas tank. So going the distance, do you really see that in the?
You say that, but he went the distance with Rivas. He went the distance with Joseph Parker, and that he got greedy, and that's what. Yeah, he got greedy with Joseph Parker, and that's why he got caught with right hand, and then he lost everything.
And then Chisora.
And Chisora he went 11 rounds with Chisora. He went 12 rounds with him, 12 rounds. So Dylan Whyte has had experience of going for 12 rounds with fighters, and let's face it, Chisora is basically two guys having a scrap in a litting tree in Holloway Road. They'll throw punches. They'll put everything in their punches. They won't just using it as rangers and trying to build attacks. They'll planting their feet and going at it. Terence Ora was planting his feet all the way down to the 12th round. Dylan Whyte was planting his feet as well. So he's got experience of doing that, because it's bloody hard work to basically plant your feet from round 1 to round 12. So, I don't think his gas tank's going to be an issue. But I see what you mean, because if Tyson Fury's on his motorbike, it's quite frustrating when you've got to chase him around the ring. So yeah, I'll get it.
I'll stick with you before I revert this same question back to William. Diego says here, because I'm just dealing with viewers' questions right now. Diego says here, who will look to control the bout? Will Dylan need to approach it like Usyk took it to AJ? Ken?
100%. You have to do it. If you're in any heavyweight championship, any championship fight, world championship fight, you have to go and grab the belt. It's one of the unwritten rules in boxing. You cannot be passive and expect and wait for your chance. You have to take the champion by surprise, because what will happen is that you can still do what Carroll did, i.e. go and grab the belt of Josh Taylor, and you can get a catastrophic decision like that. But it was still the right approach. Usyk had to win that convincingly, because if there was any doubts, AJ would have got his hand raised. And that's why you got to wait. Do not leave it to the judges. Go out there and take and do what you've got to do. The simple reason is that right now, with the way we're looking at the judges' scorecards, they're human beings, just like you and me, just like football referees are human beings. It's natural that back in the day, that if referees referee at the Etihad Stadium and then referee at Anfield, Stamford Bridge, because psychologically they're big clubs and always win. Referees psychologically are always going to give them big teams the benefit of the doubt. It's just like with fighters, the champion, especially someone with a big reputation, if it's like if it's like a fight that is basically goes to dispute, then the champion will always get his belt get his hand lifted. We, even though we genuinely believed that it was a clear win for Josh Taylor. Sorry for, in the Josh Taylor fight, for Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall, even though we knew Jack Catterall won it, the fact is we're angry and we want to kill in John Lewis, but there was another pork chop in there who basically gave it to Taylor, and there was another pork chop who gave it to Catterall, but he only gave it by 1 round. So he deserves his net ringing as well.
Okay. Will, there's obviously Fury has come out and said after this fight he's looking to retire, he's looking to go away. So what does the landscape of the heavyweight look like in Fury's absence? And do you really think he goes away? Say Usyk and AJ had that fight, and if AJ wins, do you think Fury comes back? And if Usyk wins, do you think Fury comes back for Usyk, or do you think he just stays retired?
I think the more likely one he'll come back for is Usyk. I know people don't believe it, but I think it's more Usyk. I don't think he really cares for Joshua for some reason, I don't really think he cares for Joshua. I don't think he cares if he fought Joshua or not.
His dad does.
Because really could have fought Joshua this time. Do you get what I'm saying? He could have fought Joshua if he wanted to. Because that's a belt Joshua would like to take to go fight Usyk anyways, if you think about it. But I just think he just doesn't like Joshua. So I don't think he'll come back out for Joshua. But I think if Usyk won, that would be interesting. Because obviously people are comparing him to Usyk, saying who's a better boxer, who's a better.
People are saying that's a more dangerous fight for him. That might intrigue him to want to come back. If as we know, Tyson does loves living life on the edge a little bit. You know what I mean? So if that turns out to be probably the more dangerous fight for him, that might make him think about coming back. John Fury says he don't want David Hayes anywhere near the commentary. Right? What's the beef with? Is it Hayes just love winding up John Fury? What's going on there with those two guys? Ken, what's happening with those two?
Well, the thing is, David A picked out Wilder to win the rematch, and he picked him. I don't know. I think he picked him to win the third fight as well. I think what's happening is that David Hay psychologically looks at Tyson Fury and says, this guy's got no power. And he feels that if he fights someone who's a natural fighter, someone with power, that they should be able to take Tyson Fury out. And that's his reasoning behind that. In terms of John Fury's antics, John Fury, as far as I'm concerned, needs to realise, right, it's nice to be proud of your son. But sometimes, right, you can't always go up to him to collect the World Cup all the time. You've got to leave it to your son. People should be allowed to say, basically, I don't think your son's going to win, and have their own opinion without you flying the handle. I mean, he was very disrespectful towards Carl Frampton when Carl Frampton had Jake Paul beating his other son, Tommy. So in terms of John Fury, I think John Fury, he doesn't need to sell the fight. The fight sells itself. I know you love your son. I know that it's been very frustrating because of the travel ban, because of your stays in them.
Sorry to cut you there. I see Tyson having to push them back and telling them to move in the press conference, stay down. After the press conference, he's telling them to back off.
Because basically what's happened is that both those guys, have both been respectful. Tyson Fury knows Dillian Whyte knows Tyson Fury, and you know what? Both of them been written off. Tyson Fury, to a lot of people, being a gypsy, Irish gypsy, to a lot of boxing purists, shouldn't be in his position. They don't want him in his position because he doesn't toe the line. But they've attached to him because for other reasons. Dillian Whyte shouldn't be where he is. it shouldn't be. They don't want. He's an MMA fighter, ex-kickboxing champion. You know, he's rough and ready. You know, these are people who, let's face it, if you compared their kind of endorsements they get to Anthony Joshua, it's worlds apart. Anthony Joshua, for me, is the equivalent of Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Dillian Whyte, the equivalent of the Brazilian version of Pelé Garrincha. Pelé was the best player in the world. He was a corporate man. Garrincha was the man for the favelas in Brazil. And that's and I say Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury are Garrincha. Anthony Joshua is Pelé in terms of the way the public and the way the media portray them.
Got you. We've got two more questions for you. You've been very, very generous with your time. Thank you very much, Kenny. I really, really appreciate you coming on the channel and giving us your time like this. I wanted to pick your brains on there's a fight coming up next week, women's fight. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. He's rubbing his hand. I wanted to pick your brains on both of those fights and how you think you'll go, and you know who do you have taking that fight, and same with you as well, William, on Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor.
You know what? I've seen a lot of Katie Taylor, not enough of Amanda Serrano.
I've only been seeing Amanda Serrano since Jake Paul came around. Like, that's when I really noticed her, and I started looking into her, and I like her style. But you're a season.
You know, Katie Taylor. One thing about Katie Taylor, she fights for the whole 2 minutes.
Right.
And the thing is, because she fights for the whole 2 minutes, it's very difficult for her opponents to nick around or even get, because normally she does get caught a lot of times, but she's so quick and she throws punches in bunches, but they're correct technical punches. She's very quick. She knows when to box and she knows when to be aggressive, and she's a live fighter. You know, in terms of Amanda Serrano, I know she's a good fighter as well. But when I see Katie Taylor, I don't see her being beaten in anytime soon. I expect her to win comfortably on points. I really do.
What about you, Will?
I expect Serrano to beat her.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, this is just put the cat amongst the pigeons. But please, do go on.
Serrano's wanted her for a long time. Katie's not really mentioned Serrano's name that much. But Serrano's wanted her for at least 2 years, maybe. I always have this thing where I say on the show, when someone wants you that badly, it means they know something we all don't know.
Yeah, man.
And for me, like, and also, like, it's been, you know, Katie has had the whole America as well, wild and everything as well, right? I think that pissed off Serrano even more. Because she sat down, wanted to fight, not had a fight, watched this girl come to do a tour in her country and get more popular with the zone.
That's mad still. That's wild, man.
Yeah, you think about that, yeah. So I think Serrano's finger, and then she had to fight on Jake Paul's cards. You get me, to get popular.
Like I said, that's where I knew her from. That's where I noticed her from. I didn't really know much about her before then.
Just the same way, can you hope for Dillian Whyte to win because of Dillian Whyte's
the struggle?
Yeah.
Now you see my logic in going Serrano.
Yeah, definitely, 100%, yeah.
Because she will be the hungrier fight, and she's already hungry anyway. She could take punches, she could duck it out, and she's kind of like Amanda Nunes in a way. Bullying, very, very bullying. Whereas Katie's more of a boxer, this girl's more of a bully. And sometimes when a boxer gets punched and they don't know where they're at, I know Katie keeps fighting, but you never know when your head gets spun.
Yeah, but is Serrano going to be looking? The thing with Serrano, because it reminded me of when
knockout.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You remember Natasha Donis, obviously from her southpaw stance. Yeah. You know, she was looking for that big, that big punch that she caught Terry Harper a few times. Sometimes when you do that, someone who's as good as Katie Taylor sees them coming. So there has to be more to the arsenal. You can't allow Katie Taylor to have a higher cumulative amount of punches, more punches than yourself, because that's where she nicks it. There's a lot of times when Katie Taylor will be throwing punches, she won't be catching them on the head, but she'll be throwing punches. Sometimes will be blocked, but judges will give her will score her because she's coming forward and she's doing like that. But it doesn't mean if they're accurate or not. And that's one of the things that Serrano needs to do, is that she has to mix it between trying to look for that knockout, but also trying to box her, and also try and do her for speed of hand and foot, because Katie Taylor's used to that. There's times when Katie Taylor goes, "Well, have a rest," and then like that. Don't allow her to do that, because that's where she wins a lot of her fights, because of the accumulation of punches she throws, and to the extent that even when she is getting caught, she's still throwing. You know what I mean? And even from like 1 minute to the first second to the second minute of the round, she's still throwing punches. You can't allow her to do that, because the fight could be running away from it. Just same with Dillian tomorrow. Bolt grabbed the belt of the champion. Because let me tell you something now. Serrano would not be allowed to win this fight. So go and get that title, get the belts off her. Simple.
Okay, one last question before you go, Kenny Ken. And thank you very much.
I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed my time with Will, especially when Man United play Arsenal. Of course, Arsenal fans have got nothing to say, because so far this season we've played Man United and they turned us over at Old Trafford. So
we can't say nothing till we get it done.
And the best player in the world, God bless his soul and God bless his, his family and everything. It's ready to play tomorrow, so he's going to be playing on emotion. His teammates are going to be playing on emotion on his behalf. McTominay's going to be back, so you're actually going to have a midfielders who tackle. So that's going to be different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we definitely got a big job on our hands tomorrow.
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, man. Before I let you go, Kenny, let me just quickly ask Kenny this question, because like I said, we still got a whole card of MMA to get through, right? And we're nearly an hour in. Before I let you go, what did you make of the Errol Spence and Ugas fight?
Brilliant fight.
Is Crawford next? And if Crawford's next, how do you see that panning out?
Well, the thing is, right, there's two sides to this fight. One, that Errol Spence came forward, got in his face, squatted on his punches, planted his feet with those punches. But one thing is, you get caught in the 6th round, got caught where it should have been a standing count, and he got hurt in the 7th round. I promise you one thing now. If you want to do that against Bud Crawford, Bud Crawford's going to love that, because I'll tell you one thing about Crawford, he's got power in both hands, and he loves to tear up. Bud Crawford is one of those fighters that says, "How do you want it? You want a boxing match? Right, let's have it."
Kenny, I wish you could talk to my mate. My mate's talking crazy, like Crawford ain't got no power, nothing.
Did you see what he did to Porter?
I know.
Did you see what he did? Did you see what he did to Kell Brook? It was a jab. It was a right jab, and he spun him around to his senses that he was. It was like on the magic roundabout. Bud Crawford, if Errol Spence wants to come forward and have a fight, make sure he catches him clean, because Bud Crawford would love that, because it will take him out. Take him out.
All I can say about Crawford is I've got £100 on him already. This is how confident I am. Yeah,
£100 on what the fight? Well, yeah, and you know what? You probably get a massive return on that thing, because Crawford's the best out in the business. He's best out there. He's not going to be beaten. He's going to be one of those fighters who's going to retire with a 0 on his record. I can
Well,
guarantee you
like
that.
what you're saying we got a next Mayweather on our hands, sort of. Not in the same
100%.
fighting style, but in that sort of record.
The thing with Crawford is,
I don't see him beating him.
wherever the fight goes, he's great at it.
He's got too much of his arsenal. Another thing as well, people seem to assume he's just a southpaw. No, he actually started with orthodox. But if you want to do,
That's wild.
You know what I mean? So if you want him to fight southpaw, be my guest.
Able to manage both stances simultaneously like that and be deadly with it.
And just remember, from a southpaw stance, he's got a powerful right hook. From an orthodox start, from basically like an
orthodox stance,
So from a natural stance,
left,
where he's fighting, where the natural stance is jabbing your left hand, he's got a massive right hand. So what I don't understand, what people don't get is that he's got power in both hands, and he's a good inside fighter. He's extremely strong. So don't get me wrong, Spencer's a fantastic fighter because you only have to look at his performances, over the years and the way
Spencer's basic. He's basic. 1-2, 1-2.
But he beat Ugas is a very good fighter. Harold Graham, he battered him. He beat the shit out of him in Sheffield, where Harold Graham said he was going to put his chocolate brownies in the oven. Yeah, mate. The only thing went in the oven was your eyelids, mate. Your eye bone. And that's not slagging off Kell Brook because I do a lot of respect for him. But Errol Spence can mix it. But the problem is that Crawford, if it's a slugfest, make sure that you're taking Crawford out. Because if you're not, then it's going to be curtains for you, mate. You are going to hit the canvas, mate, and you may not get up.
Wow. Okay, you guys heard it here. Thank you very much, Kenny Ken, for gracing us with your time, for gracing us with your presence.
Come on, mate. My two favourite things to talk about are boxing and football. Come on.
Yeah, man. I really, really appreciate it, and hopefully, in very, very soon, we can get you back on the channel, and we can talk some more. We can talk some more boxing.
Let me tell you something now. Boxing's like football. It ain't going nowhere.
For real. Yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. They're always going to be here. So, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you, and we'll talk soon.
Definitely. Speak soon. Love you.
Love.
Boss. Bye.
So, William, yeah, man. That was something right there. You know what I mean? I'm sure you enjoyed that little.
I did.
That little boxing segment there.
All I can say is, because of the time we took, because we didn't plan to take this long on it.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, let's just skip the
Bellator thing.
Card. Yeah. You're thinking just as I'm thinking too.
Yeah, man, of course. It's Clarice's birthday today. I've gone straight from work, gone straight down here. Mrs. been down there with the kids waiting on me. They're all literally waiting on me right now.
Out in about 15 minutes, but I could hold that on.
You know what? Right, let's get through the card real quick. I got them all written here. We'll fly through the card, and
they can fly through because I've already done my reach. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay. Let's start from the bottom all the way to the top. Dean Barry fighting Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson 0-1. Dean Barry 4-1. Where you going? I'm gonna go with Dean Barry.
Me too. Dito.
Okay. We got Marcin Pracknell versus Philip Lins, 15-5 for Marcin Pracknell. Philip Lins 14-5. I like
Marcin Pracknell.
I like Pracknell. I like Pracknell, and I hate Pracknell because Pracknell was the last guy to put my boy out. You know what I mean? Khalil Roundtree. So do you remember that fight? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We got Preston Parson against Evan Elder. Preston is 9-3, and Evan is 7-0.
I'm going with Evan.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Preston. Next one on. Ariel Leng versus Cameron Else. Cameron Else 10-5, and Leng. Shout out to 420. He's 18-9. I'm gonna go with the Leng.
I'm going with the Leng too. Leng.
We'll got the Leng. Now
Leng.
Tyson Pedro is
Ike
fighting
Villanova's
Ike
here.
Villanova. You going Ike Villanova?
No, I said Ike Villanova's here. He got knocked out by Marcin Pragnell.
Yeah, true. This is another victim of Pragnell. Tyson Pedro, CKB, man.
I'm going Tyson Pedro, baby.
Oh, Tyson Pedro been out for such a long time, man, 3 years. But I'll go with Ike. I'm going with Ike.
Okay, I'm going with Tyson.
So we got Dwight Grant
CKB
versus
under the bus. CKB under the bus already.
No.
Okay.
Dwight Grant versus Sergey. You always try to do this shit, man. You know what I mean?
Just saying.
Dwight Grant versus Sergey. Dwight Grant 11-4. Sergey 27-6. 1-no contest. Where you going?
Sergey.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Dwight Grant. Jordan Wright versus Marc-Andre Barriot. This is top of the prelims. Jordan Wright is 12-2. Marc-Andre Barriot is 13-5. I'm going with Jordan Wright.
Yeah, Dito.
Okay, onto the main card. We got Lando Vanata versus Charles Jordan. Blood. Okay, so
you know,
I think
where
those
we're
are
going then.
both of them is our picks, man. You know, when I call Charles Jordan like that, you know where man's going. Romanov versus Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman 15-9. Romanov 15-0. I can't go with Chase Sherman on this, man. It's got to be Romanov for me. Romanov by submission as well. I say second round submission.
Okay, I'm going Romanov. I was gonna go the other way, but since you're so precise about it, I'll go Romanov.
Come on, fam. Oh shit.
And this is the girl that what's his name was talking about. What's his name? Curly hair. Got knocked out by Jake Paul.
Big up to you with the job. Salute to you, my bro. Yeah, question here for you, but I'm gonna leave that till we get to the end of the picks. Macy Barber versus Montana De La Rosa.
Macy Barber.
Macy Barber
No,
for me
I'm not
as
going
well.
Macy Barber. I'm not going Macy Barber.
All right, you going Montana De La Rosa?
Yeah, Zersky. She knocked out my girl.
Okay. Clay Guida versus Claudio Puelles. You know, Clay Guida is the OG in the game, been around for a long time. He's got them it's not quite got Olenek record, but he's got Jim Miller record. You know them Jim Miller sort of record. You know what I mean? Them Arlovsky sort of record. He's one of those. He's one of them, man. There, you get me? Clay Guida, he's been around for a minute, man. You know what I mean? He's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, no doubt about that. What are you saying?
Claudio Puelles.
You see, this could be the quick Clay Guida's last fight. And I don't think he's going to want to go out like that. So I'm going to go with Clay. This card on paper looks garbage. I'm praying that it does what it does when it comes to fight night.
Come on, bro.
You know what I mean? I'm praying it does what it does when it comes to fight night, man. You know what I mean? Because on paper, this card is so garbage, man. But hey, we've been there before. We know this thing, man. You know what I mean? The main event of the evening, Amanda Lemos versus Jessica Andrade. Jessica 22-9, Amanda Lemos 11-1. 1-no contest. Where are you going on this?
I'm going with Jessica, man.
Jessica for me too. Fam, have you seen our OnlyFans blood?
Oh
Blood.
yeah.
He moves wild on there, bro. I'm telling you, man.
Well, you subscribed or something?
Nah, man. I just took a peek. You know what I mean? Yeah, blood. You know what I mean? I just had a look, blood. You feel me? Like I ain't subscribed or nothing. I just had a look. Like, yeah, she be moving wild on there. You know, and that's the same thing with them, the Vanderford family there. You know what I mean? Damn, Ola, I thought you had a couple of cherries on your hat.
Boxing
Yeah,
gloves,
man,
man.
they're not cherries, man. You know what I mean? These are boxing gloves, man. You feel me? Big up time, man. Big up time. Me and Ola need to do some football content together one of these days. That will be funny. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Whenever you're ready, man. Give me on your channel, because this is a fight. This is a fight channel, man. So I'll definitely come on your channel, man. You know what I mean? We just have to schedule it around my work. I get so busy out there. But yeah, man. For real. Yeah, man. No problem, man. Whenever you need, man, just shout me.
Ola's a busy man, trust me.
Bonuses. Let's do bonuses real quick and get the hell out of here. Bonuses. Performance of the night.
I'm going with Jessica.
Well, for performance of the night, yeah?
Yep.
So you think she's gonna knock out Lemos, innit?
Yep.
Fight of the night?
I'm gonna go with, it's a toss-up, yeah, between Clay Guida and then Lando Vanata.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
So where are you going?
I want to go Lando Charles.
So go Lando Charles.
I am.
Okay. My performance of the night is gonna be Romanov. And my fight of the night is gonna be Clay versus Puelles.
Okay.
And yeah, that's that concludes the end of the card. It's the card is not really all that, but I'm just hoping that that it really comes through and delivers on the night. Taib had a question earlier before he was thinking about the cherries on my hat. Boxing gloves, brother. Yeah, Will, he did ask me as well, how do you rate Richard Riakpo? And does he have any flaws in terms of his boxing skills? I don't even know this guy. I'm praying that you know this guy and you can help Taib out with that question.
I actually have come across him before. I actually have come across this guy before. I don't know. It's early doors still. It's early doors. So
is it like a prospect, like a young prospect?
Nah, he had he was on Sky the other day. He was headlining, but he looks like a pumped up Akoli, if you get what I'm saying. He's good, but I think he's too slow. Because he's fighting European fighters as well, it's all right. It's okay now. When you go to America, it's a whole different ballgame. You know what I mean? When he starts fighting some of them American fighters, it will be and Mexican fights, it will be a whole different ballgame. I'll judge him when he starts doing that, rather than fight the European fighters. Because European fighters, they're kind of like of a certain style. Whereas with American and the Latino style, there's so many varieties in their styles that, like, when you fight them kind of styles, then we can talk. Then we can make the talk about anything else. But until he does that, I think he's a prospect. He's still a good prospect to follow. You never know. You never know. Like it's just like, you see, Joshua is great, yeah, until he fought Ruiz. Then he got stuck. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's different. It's weird to him. You get what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you cross over and fight them American fighters and that. You can get someone who's really crap, beat you up, just because you're the style. You're not used to the style. So I want to see him fight a few of those American fighters, let him solidify himself, or like Latino fighters, Mexican fighters, and then we'll see. Then we can talk. Then we can make that little assumption. But until then, I don't know. We just take him as a prospect because, yeah, is he champion or something? Because I think he's got a belt or something. But I don't think it's one of them ones where you win off of the lucky guy, the lucky guy who got it, and then you go and beat him and kind of keep the belt in.
Okay, Tayyib, I hope that answers your question, my bro. I hope Will was able to answer your question to satisfactory. And one thing that I'm not satisfied about is Capone coming on my channel talking shit about Ghanaian Jollof. I told you Ghanaian Jollof is banned around me until the World Cup is done, blood. I don't want to hear nothing about Ghanaian Jollof. I don't want to hear nothing about Ghana. I don't want to hear nothing about Party. I need Party done for the season, man. So I don't even want to hear nothing about Party. I want to hear fam. I'm done with Ghana, blood, until the World Cup is done, fam. All right, you know what? Didn't Nketiah score for us the other day? He did. He's Ghana, ain't it? He put 2 goals past Chelsea. I'm done with Ghana still. I'm done with Ghana, fam. You motherfucking killed me, blood. Like, fucking hell, man. You know what I mean? You motherfucking hurt, man. You might hurt my feelings, man. You know what I mean? Whittle Job says here, no coke. Will, what's going on? Coke comes hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh, that's why. Yeah, he's got the mag. You know, he's got the Magnum. Man. He's working with the Magnum. That's what happened there. So, hey, big up, Paul Bryden, Diego. Yeah, man. Salute to everybody that's joined us tonight. You lot's been fucking fantastic, man. Thank you to everybody that's joined us, everybody that's watched live, all of you that's watched on playback. You know, the support keeps growing. And please share, like, subscribe if you're new. And more of this sort of content is going to come up on the channel. And hopefully, I'm not going to do the watch along this weekend because it's my anniversary with my wife tomorrow. So, no, you know what I mean? I'm just doing the watch along on Ligona
She's a United
channel.
fan as well. She's a United fan.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing the watch along on Ligona's channel. And straight from there, you know what I mean? I'm going to be spending the day with my wife, but there's a lot of fight that's going on tomorrow, and she's a wicked fight fan as well, and we're going to be enjoying all the fights that's coming about tomorrow. She's going to be
supporting Ghana as well in the World Cup.
Boy, she hates Ghana, fam. You know, she hates Ghana because I'm saying she should hate Ghana. You get me? Like, no, man, Ghana's banned to the World Cup, done, man. At least you man get knocked out of the World Cup. I don't want to hear nothing about Ghana, blood. You know what I mean? Better be showing me your English side till the till the World Cup is done, fam. Otherwise, me and you gonna get at it, fam. You know what I mean? Trust me. Anyways, people, thank you very much for joining us. You know what I mean? You love been fantastic. Salute to all of you. And on to the next video. Salute.